it to you.
Okay, you can chat it in here too, and I can
copy
it. It is moving.
You're gonna have to know your own GoFundMe, partner. This is my friend Milk. She also goes by Connie. She's amazing. Hi.
I had so much fun lurking your stuff.
I have so many questions for you when we're no longer on the stream, so I can know about your personal life and other things, and when we can hang out and stuff.
Love it. All right, so we are live. I'm gonna start it off with a song. I'm gonna set a good example and light a candle.
I got my Palo Santo rocking.
Woo, woo, woo. Oh, so good. I choose that over Sage any day. I'm not to hate on Sage, but
Sage has its time and place, but it always sets off my smoke alarm, and the Palo Santo doesn't. So here we are.
Here we are. Cheers.
Asheo.
Nice.
What's the name of the song you're gonna do for us, Connie?
It's called "This Is Not the End."
I love this song.
So as I'm playing, y'all are starting to come in. Get your journals. We're doing a writing prompt. The woes are out. Their teeth are on my tail. The secrets are, and blood is on the trail. But I don't care. This is not the end. This is not the end. Trouble will come. Trouble will go. This is not the end. The birds are circling, messing with my head. But I'm not running. I'm not running. Though their eyes are turning red, this is not the end. This is not the end. Trouble will come. Trouble will go. This is not the end. I don't know how, and it's hard to breathe. I don't know how, but I believe. But I believe. This is not the end. This is not the end. Trouble will come. Trouble will go. This is not the end. This is not the end.
It's right on your biggest fan.
Yay! Thank you, Chinaka. Welcome everyone. I'm so stoked. This is not the end. I changed the bridge because I wanted to change it to fit the time. So now for my special guest, Chinaka Hodge. Thank you for joining us.
I'm so jazzed. I hope your followers, I'm a bit of a shift and a bit of a change, but I'm really happy to be here with you. And I think I don't develop very many friend crushes or like very many new friends in my adult year, but I'm very happy that between like October and now we forged a friendship.
Yes.
Big teams, big teams.
Yeah.
So should I just jump in? What happens?
Yeah, I wanna share a little bit of how we met. So Chinaka and I met at a YouTube event, and you were the MC, like the host of the event. You were co-hosting and kind of setting the tone. And I remember just being so moved, and then I got goosebumps, and then I like teared up, and I was like, okay, this woman's very powerful. So and some of the pieces that you shared, there was one where you talked about like your roots, your heritage, and the woman that came before you, and I was so empowered by that. And so that's why when I was like, oh, Chinaka, do you want to do this? Today's theme is centered around honoring our roots, our heritage, the people who came before us, and our histories that make us who we are. I just loved, listening to you. I'm really excited to share your voice, your words, and your art with everyone.
What I loved most about our first interaction, and I won't be long, is that you and I like kind of, I don't know, in the Bay we use a phrase called game recognize game. And from the other side of the hotel, I won't say like the situation, but it was a pretty posh hotel. I was kind of out of my general element. And I feel like you and I connected. You out on this dope coat that I will always remember, / maybe I'm your friend just to get the coat, whatever. And
which one was it?
It was like, if I say it's black and white, that's not going to narrow it down. But it was like a black and white number with a face on it, like a face graphic print. And then you had a t-shirt underneath it. In any case,
borrow it anytime.
I feel like you and I like connected eyes, and it's like, you're a winner. I want to be a winner with you. So
that's how I felt when I met you. I was like, she's a winner. I want to win. Winner.
Everyone else here is not a winner, but everyone else there was a winner. It was a good conference. Anyway, yay YouTube. This is a poem that I wrote. Sadly, a lot of the adult matriarchs in our family passed away all around the same year. So between 2012 and 2017, my great aunt, two of my grandmothers, my step grandma, a lot of the women transitioned. So I wrote a series of poems, which I started calling Poem for the Year That Grandma Died. But it turned into all these kinds of things. So this, I would also say that my family asked me to read poems at the funerals and memorials. So a lot of my work is public facing, and I do weddings and I do naming ceremonies. I do very happy occasions, but internally I'm asked to be one of the people that helps transition people from life into ancestorhood. So when you ask me, I'm like, oh yeah, cool. We'll just do that little ancestor work. This is a poem that I read at my grandmother's funeral. My dad's mother, my biological grandmother, who just an amazing woman. And this poem was called How to Be Remembered. A checklist by Bobby Jean Island Hodge. First, hate picking cotton, despise sharecropping, but leave in that rigor and committed back-breaking work. Make your lifetime labor the cracking of books, ceaseless acts of cataloging, be a pillar of discipline, be quiet, be still, and quiet, be limited but perfectly chosen word. Forgive your own mistakes, try not to make them in the first place, plan accordingly, set an immaculate table, entertain cordially, fix your hair just so, suck venom out your back molars. When you are angry, be the kind of woman not to trifle with. Marry a man who commits to music, who loves you steady as metronome, fills your home and children with rhythm. Your grandkids will inherit that knack for keeping time and be unable to sing quietly. Hum on road trips. If you're not going to Hot Springs again, take your kids to the train museum. Tell them to imagine they are their own locomotives. Make them think of themselves as giant objects on seamless tracks, able to traverse the great beyond. Go, as you age, to the forbidden cities you've always asked about. See the entire planet. Watch baptisms in the Jordan. Remark on the Great Wall. Take photographs. Make note. Honor the duty and privilege it is to travel. Impress this upon your Black grandchildren, whose job it must be to ache, to unveil the unseen. Never go easy on your heirs, especially not on a Scrabble board. Make your grandchildren say uncle. Beat them at games good and hard and fast. Nurture but do not coddle. Make them treat your silverware with care. Make them make lists. Help them check boxes. Fix their penmanship. Don't forget birthdays or Christmas. Handwrite a card, always the same message. Dear child, pre-written inscription. Love, Grandma Bobby, and mean it. Enclose a $5 yellow check, First Simmons savings bond, jar of jam, pint of jelly, Virginia sweets, mean potato or pecan pie every year. Every year. This is how you become solid, immovable, grandmother. This is how you last in their memories. This is why your scent in the house on Eastwood Court will bring them to tears instantly after you're gone, fighting this disease that is eating at you, making you scream in the middle of the night, keeping you from Highland and volunteering and your garden and the elderberries and standing upright and swallowing and taking and talking, even the talking, which you don't love so much anyway, destroy this ailment that aims to take the best of you. Still you stand above it, poised, regal, organized, spilling light out your fingernails, beckoning, come here, you vile thing, say, see what I am, a brown girl with knobby knees from a small town who taught public school and sharecropped, who watched America burn as it integrated itself, pledged Delta, raised Black children. You have already conquered the toughest things. Be unafraid of illness. It has nothing on you. Be so full of light and joy that this body cannot hold you. Convey love so well you don't have to speak. So when Justin calls 20 minutes before you go, he knows that Granny heard him. Be so easy to hear. Even if you can't talk, be light as wind, so you are hard to name. Be so familiar that even when not in your house, you are the home. Be gentle as you join the ether. You love to marvel. You have voyaged everywhere. This is the one thing you have not seen. Go delicately, grandmother. Escape like a breath in sleep. Dance in some wide open room you've never been with your best fellow. You will be remembered. Your grandchildren will collect the rest of you and pin you to their lapels, roll you through their hair, build you into lists, play you into songs, kiss you into the cheeks of your great grands who will learn to speak your name as if it is a promise, because it is a blood oath.
Wow. I love the line, when not in your house, you are the home.
That was my grandma. She was a real one.
Wow. That's power. Um, do you mind me asking, like, when you shared that, was it at her funeral, you said?
I was at her funeral, and my grandmother had been sick with Parkinson's disease for maybe 15 years prior to it. It's hard with Parkinson's to know when the onset is, but she struggled for the better part of 15 years. And one of the hardest things about her transition was that the disease actually, it's a muscular disease, so it messes with all of your muscles differently, but with her, it really messed with her brain function. And so she told me that maybe 10 years before she went, she lost the ability to know when she was speaking. Whoa. So she said she would do all the work of speaking and she wasn't ever sure if it telegraphed. She felt her mouth moving, her brain was doing all this stuff. And so that for me was like, I was already performing poetry when she told me that it's a possible outcome for me. So it really made me treasure just the work, just like the very small work of going from here to there, and what a miracle that is. And so it also made me treasure the time that I got to spend with her and the days in which she only could say my name and realize how much work that could be. Or the days where she could do a whole load of laundry or teach me to cook something. But, you know, I think a lot of people think Parkinson's and think Michael J. Fox, and that's one side of it, but it affects Black women disproportionately. It's, you know, it's one of the outcomes, I believe, of her life of sharecropping as a child. And so, I don't know, the disease reminded me that, like, well, nothing is taken for granted anymore, but also, like, even the small acts mean big deals. And we never know how much someone is bringing to the table, even when it seems like they're doing something small.
Wow. That's a really powerful thing to remember, especially during this time. And like you said, like being grateful just for the words to be able to come out. What a gift. And to be able to sit here and hear you express all of it is truly a gift. And knowing that you've experienced that is really, really beautiful and moving. I wanted to spend time thinking about our ancestors, our parents, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, our roots, because I think this pandemic is kind of it's like a sift, right? In the word crisis, the root words to sift, like sifting out the things that don't matter, and then keeping within our hands the things that do. And for me personally, I'm starting to really think about my heritage and my people. And as I'm watching the news, as I'm watching policies happen, I'm also thinking about, wow, we really need to, as all different heritages and backgrounds of people, us acknowledging our ancestors and what we've done or have not done is so important for us to heal, like acknowledging. So I just wanted to take that time to do that, and so yeah, I wanted to also open this up to everyone here. Just like take a few minutes. If you have your journal, I just put in the comments if you have your journal ready. Um, I'm gonna just have us write for a few minutes, 3 minutes. It's short. Don't freak out. You'll be okay. Just take out a pen. It's so therapeutic, and piece of paper. I just want you to take a few minutes to um, ponder about your the people who you feel are in your roots of your tree. As you stand tall as this tree and you reach out with your branches, who are your roots? And let's just take, I'm going to put a little timer on. Actually, I'll just eyeball it. 3 minutes, and just take some time to acknowledge the people who came before you and made you who you are. All right, let's begin. One more minute. All right, let me finish that up. Finish up your sentence.
Well, my gratitude is mad cheesy, Connie.
What'd you say?
My gratitude is mad cheesy.
So mine probably is too.
I wonder why we feel such like anxiety around expressing like thanks for the small things, but like I always feel like my gratitude's not quite right. Like I could either have more of it or better of it.
Yeah, it's really interesting that like we get self-conscious. Maybe because it's so vulnerable, It's like opening that our rib cage and being like, "Hey, like you've had an impact," you know? Um Yeah, I'm super grateful for gratitude. I'm a huge cheese ball, Shinaka.
I mean, I think it's mutual. That's what makes us winners.
um yeah, and I it just helps like snap me into my present. I'm happy to share first, and hey, if you all want to like share um a little bit of what you wrote or something that you noticed or learned, like feel free to add it into the comment section. I would love to hear about what you all have like come up with in this 3 minute free write. I'll share a little bit. If you want to share some, Shanaka, you can. If not, all good. Um, so I said my grandfather was a beautiful soul, is a beautiful soul. He inspired me to be a trailblazer. He was a man who learned a new language at age 17 to find a way. He found a way in Hong Kong and watched the people dye the yarn as he worked in the factories.
Hmm.
Gracefully, he added his own style of dyeing yarn. He figured out a way to spool multiple colors into one spool. This ability to mix hues was his gift. It was his ability to curate a new mix of beauty into a
Hmm.
new palette. He also had parents who I never met. He was Tiuzhou from a small village in southern China. When I knew him, he built me and my sister a playhouse with his own two hands from scratch. That's all I got out. But I love my grandpa is like when I was young, he asked me what my favorite color was and I picked it out and it was gray. And everyone's like, gray? They're like, are you okay? My grandpa's like, you're awesome. So I remember always holding on to that. Like he didn't mind whatever color yarn I picked, you know? Yeah.
You met my partner when we met, and his family is full of really good cooks, and my family is full of decent cooks. And I feel like my ancestors and his have begun to encounter me in the kitchen. And so a lot of my gratitude is around that. But I find ourselves in these times like I'm bringing out all my grandma's recipes. A lot of like their tried and true methods and tactics for survival kind of ring through right now. I would say like I eased up off of Postmates, and my little sister did too. She started her own Instagram blog called "Get Your Ass Back in the Kitchen," just because like it's time. So
Hello. Yeah.
I wrote, "I'm grateful for all the days we get to smile, for the time when we are easy and free, for our relationship to the dusk and good meals, for our time with the land and our time with the crossword. I share gratitude that I know how to cook, that I'm not spending time trying to get ready and rather am ready, for the foresight to buy what I need to make it for myself, for the miracle of pasta." That's where I ended.
That's a great way to end.
We made pasta from scratch this week, and we've made pizza from scratch. I'm working on a project about Italy, so I'm kind of making a lot of Italian food. But
Ooh.
yeah, just like I learned so much. Like I'm using my grandmother's cookware and their old bakeware and their own whisks, and like those things, don't pass with the person. I can feel their energy on it, and I just think like I made my great aunt's pound cake last week, and I have so much gratitude that I have the same bunt that she used because I know it like makes the moisture that we like in the cake, but also like how many times did she take it out of the oven? How many times was she distracted or like talking to her loved one, or like I just feel like it's time travel every time I touch it. So that's kind of where my gratitude lives.
Time travel bunt cake.
Yeah, bro. It's fire.
That's the name of my next album.
Joint project.
That's so cool.
Collabo.
Let's see what people have said. Okay, let me read this up close. Okay. Sarah says, pardon my technological. Oh, we got this. Okay. Sarah says, both my parents came from farming families. I've always felt really connected to the land. First non-abusive memories are of playing in hay, riding in tractors, bottle feeding lambs. Wow, that's really beautiful. And let's see. And someone says, I am from Turkey. Please sing Ooh Child. I will sing Ooh Child for you. Actually, you know my plans. Okay, and Beth Benson says, solid, immovable grandmother, gorgeous being, now an aspiration. Beautiful.
Hi, Beth.
Beth Benson.
Shout out YouTube Connect.
You know Beth?
Yeah, we met her. We at the same event.
Oh, Beth. Oh, that's awesome. All right. So I I have a complex relationship with my dad because I am the way I am and I'm pretty stubborn and I think I get that from him.
Hmm.
So it creates this very complex but subtly loving dynamic. And through this pandemic, I think about how I express my love to the ones closest to me. Like sometimes it's almost easier for me to like go and do service for other people I don't know rather than the very intimate and like like kind of tense moments with the people closest to me. So this one is for my father and acknowledging his journey and how far he's come literally physically and also just emotionally and as a man. So here it goes. I know I drove you crazy when I cried in public places and talked back. I said things I didn't mean. You knew I was different, but you could not embrace it all. It was a battle just to be me. It's crazy how you can know me better than anyone and still not really know me at all. But you've been loving me the best way you know. You've been loving me the best way you know. You've been loving me the best way you know how. I see it now. You've been loving me the best way you know. You've been loving me the best way you know. You've been loving me the best way you know how. I see it now. I see it now. I know you came from nothing, too young to be so burdened. Yeah, grew up so much faster than me. Love lost in translation between generations. I don't call enough, but even when we talk, you're still so hard to reach. It's crazy how I can know you better than anyone and still not really know you at all. But you've been loving me the best way you know. You've been loving me the best way you know. You've been loving me the best way you know how. I see it now. You've been loving me the best way you know. You've been loving me the best way you know. You've been loving me the best way you know how. I see it now. Don't want any more time passing by. Getting older now, and so am I. Everything you did then, now I know why. 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 You've been loving me the best way you know. You've been loving me the best way you know. You've been loving me the best way you know how. I see it now. I see it now. I see it now.
This way you know. I've been here doing backgrounds. I'm glad I put myself on. Is your Baba an ancestor?
He's here. He's
Okay.
on this planet. Yeah.
You haven't spoken of him in that realm, and I don't see him in that realm. So I was like, maybe my spidey senses are off. But
Yeah. Thanks for
yeah,
asking.
I love that song. I've heard it twice now, I think.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. Did I play it at YouTube? Maybe I did.
No, I think I heard it at your show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
At your show release, Into Gold. Cop that, cop that. Brr, brr, brr. I have
Your
two
EP.
poems.
Yes.
They're all actually I have technically 28 poems, but they're all very short. There's a series that I wrote when I was like 18 called For Girls with Hips, and these are the only poems I have about my dad, so I figure I'll share them.
I love that title, by the way. You wrote that when you were 18?
I remember when I was like 16, 17, and it came out when I was 18. It's like literally looking at a baby photo book. Like, oh yeah, that was her mindset at 14.
Yeah.
That's indelible, huh? That's not Instagram. That's a sign on that butt.
Yeah. Can't delete that.
Yeah, there's no like subtweeting this shit. It's in there.
All right.
Dad 1, 2, and 3. Dad gave me a chromosome and now has the eerie ability to call when I'm laying in bed next to some guy, any guy, every time. Dad 2. My dad is the greatest man in the world. Hey, Pops, you heard that? Tuition is due yesterday. Dad 3. Dad gave me a chromosome and now has the eerie ability to call whenever I'm close to breaking in 4 every time. No lie. My dad's the coolest.
So cool.
He's very cool.
Where's he at? Does he live in LA too?
No. I'm from the Bay, so I live. It's still in Oakland in my mind. He's from Arkansas originally. He and my mom and my stepdad all met at Northwestern, and then they all moved out to the Bay Area. So yeah, my dad's up there. He's a policy advocate. He's a lawyer. He's a musician. He's a minister, and an avid eater of Oreos. He's one of my best friends.
That's a great bio.
That's brosif right there. He's like a big, like when I was growing up, people would be like, you're Greg Hodge's daughter. Like it took a long time for me to have a name of my own, but
well, here you are.
It's Pops. This second set of poems is called Small Poems for Big. It's for Biggie Smalls, and I feel like ancestry and musicianship pour right into this one. I wrote this later. It's from my second full book called Dated MCs. And all the poems in here deal somehow with hip hop narratives, either my love life superimposed over what I think happens in famous rap couples, just pontifications, like just pure like 16 bar exercises. And then this one, which has turned into a form of its own, it's 24 haiku, one for each year Biggie Smalls lived. And some people took it and have been using it for Nipsey, for Pac as well. So
wow,
this is the first of the form. Small Poems for Big. When you die, I'm told, they only use given names. Christopher Wallace. No Notorious, neither B.I.G. nor Smalls, just Valletta's son. Brooklyn resident, hustler for loose change, loose C's, and a little loose Kim. Let me tell you this, the West Coast didn't get you. Illest flow or nah, had our loyalties, no need to discuss that now. That your weight is dust, that your tongue is air, and your mother is coping as only she can. I will also say that I have seen Bed-Stuy since. BK misses you. Her walk has changed some. The rest of the borough flails weak about itself. Middle school students not yet whispers in 9-7. No, your lyrics wrote you a manual, a mural, pressed rock, icon, fighting word, or curse. Course of history, most often noted, quoted, deconstructed, sung, hung by a bullet, prepped to die. Gun smoke, one hell of a hunch. Here you lie, a boy. 12 gauge to your brain. You can't have what you want, be what you want. Black, ugly, heartthrob, ever conflicted MC. You respected lately. Premier king of casket, pauper of the first life till Puff blew you up, gave you a champagne diet plus cheese, eggs, Welch's. You laid the blueprint, gave us word for not, can't fault the hustle. Knock off Messiah, slang, crack commandments, and saw no honey, more problems. Holborough recoiled, stillborn blacks, mourn genius slain, the ease of your laugh. The cut of your jib, unique command of the room. Truthfully, Biggie, what about you? Small? No, not legend, not stature, real talk, just lifespan. Yo, who shot you, kid? LAPD stopped searching, shrugged off Negro death. Well, we scour the sky, we mourn tough, recite harder, chant you live again of all the lyrics. The realest premonition rings true. You're dead, wrong.
I love the line "scour the sky." So what, like, do you remember where you were at when you wrote that poem?
That was one of the first poems that came to me for the book. And I think I was on a kick at the moment of really trying to write very structured haiku. And I think with a lot of poetry forms, particularly with forms that are co-opted from Asia, both the haiku and the pantoum, I'm particular, like, I don't trust that I got this information the right way, that it came like from continental Asia, came through this whole funnel of the American teaching system, and I got the form the right way. I'm always like, that's sus. So I go back and I look and I see that haiku are actually supposed to be about like a combination of philosophy, nature, and then like the 5-7-5 structure that we know. And so when at the time I was living in New York, and I was like, well, my nature looks like buildings. Like I don't have the same relationship to say a cherry blossom or to a blade of grass as like a haiku artist or Walt Whitman, but I see this building in front of me. I see these people in front of me. And so surely the humans are the nature as well. And then thinking about like, we talk about haiku like it's a really short form, but part of the appeal was that they were legit spoken word artists, and they would go and perform short haiku for like either off the top of the dome or for hours on end. And so I was like, they were telling a story over time. How do I do that with my poetry as well? And then how do I do that for Biggie Smalls? So it felt like a really good challenge to like paint by numbers in that way, have to have the 3 lines, have to have the 5-7-5. And then for this one, I pulled in Biggie Smalls lyrics. So that was an extra like math nerd challenge, because those are written in 4s or 8s, and this is written in 3s. So breaking 4s across 3s is just fun to me. But.
Yeah, how did you do? Did you spread it across different lines?
Yeah, it's broken across different lines, and I keep, on the page it looks like a series of haiku. It's like, it looks like chunks on the page. Cool. But I honor both the enjambment sometimes, or how his line would have fallen on the, like how his line like. The gunsmoke, that's in his cadence. The you're dead wrong is in his cadence, just slowed down to like 1.75, half the speed. So I don't know. I hang out with a bunch of musicians, and for this book, I collaborated with my brother, and he actually made a beat for every song in the book. And so for that one, he got very nerdy, and he made a beat. Most beats are like in 4s or 8s, but he made a beat that had 17, like it's broken around 17s. So he's a weirdo, nerdy kid.
I want to hear that. Is that out in the world?
We didn't publish it anywhere. It was a live show, and we did it once, and then both of our lives took new meaning. And like I wrote the whole book before I met my fiance. So like performing that series of love poems didn't make the same amount of sense out in the world, and things shift. But one of these days, me and Chakuti Hodge gonna light him up. Cha, cha, cha. In the meantime, you can check him out. He's got his own project that is on its way, and a couple others that are out. And then he did production on the Childish Gambino last project. So
amazing! Wow,
he's a smarty art.
Is he producing, or is
he's a producer on that project, and on his own project, he produces, he writes, he raps, he sings.
What's his artist name?
His name, we go by our legal names because our parents gave us these names for a reason. So
what is it? What's your brother's name?
CHUKWUUDI. Chukwudi.
Chukwudi.
It's a very popular name in Nigeria, but he'll come back first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. I love that. I wanted to share, okay. So a lot of what I've been thinking about too during this time, thinking about my ancestors, is how women are the most untapped resource of humankind. Like looking at the leaders who are leading, like New Zealand, Germany, like all these incredible female leaders are making choices that are helping us progress. And I think about all the different mothers and grandmothers and daughters in the world right now who are shirking off the effects of the patriarchy and of sexism, and just kind of finding their own way and not keeping quiet. And I know you read a lot of poetry about that too. Like,
I think I read this article that you did, and it really moved me, because I follow a lot of these women in politics, and honestly, like the woman who leads Taiwan, the woman who leads Germany, they're like, I don't agree with all of their local or foreign politics, but looking at how across the board women have, like, I don't know if you saw the part of the story where there was a woman who like sat with the children of her nation and let them ask questions for a solid hour. And that's the nation where like they have one of the lowest occurrences of like infection. Just like woman shit. Like when women are, yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. Just
Oh no, you're not interrupting. No, I
PSA.
agree. Like, how beautiful is that? You know, to just let the children teach us too. So this song is about my mother and and a, and probably about her mother and her mother and her mother. There's such a tension between daughters and mothers. And I think some of that tension spawns from just naturally the relationship, but also there's a lot of cages that we are born into without realizing. And I remember being a teenager and like being frustrated at my mother, but as I got older, I knew that I started realizing that she had her own cages and that she's had to break through them. And I've watched her in her life, like even now, just continuously peeling back the layers to try to find herself, which is so cool. Um, and I hope more of that happens so that we can nurture great leaders. Oh, mother, where do I start? How do I mend myself without breaking your heart? 1,000 songs I've written for everyone else. The one that belongs to you collects dust on the shelf. 'Cause we're complicated, we're up and we're down, we're right and we're wrong. We let the bottom fall out, but we're blind with emotion. When words turn to shouts, we keep making it hard to want to stick around. But I still show up, 'cause you and I, we're still growing up. Ooh, we try. I'm not running anymore. Yeah, you'll keep knocking on your door. Maybe that's enough. Keep showing up, keep showing up. Born as a daughter into a wife, into a mother. That's been our life. I've always been restless. I got that from you. So when I'm hard on myself, I know you're hard on you too. 'Cause we're complicated, we're up and we're down, we're right and we're wrong. We let the bottom fall out, but I'm strong enough now to tell you I love you and still call you out. 'Cause I still show up, 'cause you and I, we're still growing up. Ooh, we try. I'm not running anymore. Yeah, I'll keep knocking on your door. Maybe that's enough. Keep showing up, keep showing up. Oh, mother, we're gonna be alright, but we're not gonna heal this whole thing overnight. That's why I still show up, 'cause you and I, we're still growing up. And do we try? I'm not running anymore. I'll keep knocking on your door. Maybe that's enough. Keep showing up, keep showing up. Keep showing up, keep showing up. I do want to also thank you. Thanks. I wanted to add too, when I sing about showing up, I think I also want to acknowledge that showing up also means showing up for yourself. Because the last thing I want is for that song to make someone feel like shitty about, not being in a place where they are talking to their mother or whoever they view as their mother or father. Like, we all are on our journeys, and like there's a certain point sometimes where it's very powerful to take space and still be able to share that love. And so just want to put that out there. I'd just love to read some of these comments.
Yeah.
Okay, Kelly says she's glad that that song was being performed. I'm so glad. Oh gosh, here's my technical. Okay, here we go. Beth is still here. Yes. Hi, Beth. Keely's here. Thanks for being here. And then, all right, let's see. What I miss the most in my life is the wisdom and love of my grandmother. If I could live my life again, I'd spend more time with her and listen to her more. I was always dreaming of getting out of here to a better place when I grew up. So I failed to recognize what I truly had and cherish it while it remained. And I wish I listened to DJ Lolkek. Well, you know what? I'm sure that the love is known, and thanks for sharing that. I think there's always like a sacrifice, right, to find ourselves sometimes. Like, that's what a line I have is like, oh mother, where do I start? How do I mend myself without breaking apart? And
that's my question right there. And like, I won't put myself on blast what we're talking about just before I got on the call, but I think it's that same, like, kind of that same kind of energy is like, how do I feed into myself and honor all of the like wonderful things my loved ones have poured into me without denigrating like them as people, but acknowledging that like we all make mistakes and some of those mistakes have hurt me, you know?
Right. Yeah. And I think you said it. It's like you're honoring the things that like they have given to you as well. I think like one of the, I don't know, this is what I'm learning right now is me honoring myself is me actually trusting the work that my mother and father did on me. So in a way it is honoring them. And that's like something that I've read. Glennon Doyle says that really beautifully. You just put it in a really beautiful way too.
That's really beautiful though. I think like my parents aren't together. They haven't been together for the majority of my life. And I think sometimes as well that like I'm the synthesis of the two of them. And in a lot of ways, I must be part of what they were looking for in the other. You know what I mean? That like those tough moments are the things that like have been developed in me by the other parent often. And I'm like, this is an amazing reminder that our partners are here to sharpen us, and they will continue to do that for a very long time, whether it's not like it.
Yes.
I think of like how often like I must look at like my dad and just be visiting my dad on my mom or vice versa,
Yeah. That's a really beautiful thing you said. Like you must represent like, what did you say? Like a part of what your mother may have been looking for in your
right?
Like
It's gotta be part of it, I think.
Yeah, that's deep.
And I hope my kids know that, like when I'm frustrated with like, like any dynamic in our family in the long run, that like it points to what I want and what I don't, like what I wish to refine.
Yeah, beautiful.
One more poem or are we done?
One more poem.
All right.
Hear more? I would love to hear more.
This one I wrote, I'm sharing with things like the things I wouldn't be able to share at big shows most of the time because I feel like this is the right audience. This one is one that I did at a small house show. One of my friends, Kathy Kadams, has an amazing organization called Saved by a Story. And what they do is every time they get together, they raise about $10,000 and they give it to an organization that helps people keep their stories going. And it's a different one every time. And they fundraise it by having screenwriters, poets, journalists, notable folks all come to their home and share a new poem, a new story, a new something. So
it's called Saved by a Story.
Saved by a Story. You'll be great for SBAS.
Oh, cool.
And I don't know how they're doing
the comment section for people to check out. Can people check it out?
Yes. Okay. And then that hashtag, I can't find the link because my phone won't turn on, but it's meek, like the meek will inherit the earth, matters most. And if you search that on Instagram, it'll get you to the right page to donate.
Meek matters most. That's I really like that. Meek matters most. That's so relevant right now too.
Isn't it? It's my cousin's nickname. We call her Meek, and she's currently kicking the shit out of cancer. So
Whoa.
it's her fundraiser to remind
Wow.
others that they too can kick the shit out of cancer.
Oh, wow.
Shout out, Meek matters most.
Meek matters most. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
This one is called A Family History of Enough, and it's for the younger sister. You got your head cocked down like just because disaster came seeping under the door frame, just because the country seems unsafe, maybe for the first time, because a knee to a sideline will get your mother called out her name. You look unsure, like your best self might not be adequate. Let me remind your mother, who was named for her unbearable light, born in 59 in the great state of New York, her mother, named for a cool bloom, who was punished something awful by Manhattan and its phantoms, sought refuge in Illinois, displaced her girls into the Klan's backyard, and SEIU organized the dairy farm bells of Kankakee. Grandma's bad burrow mouth in all those cornfields was a liability. She wore a lapel pin of a holstered 45 to remind the old boys of the metal in her purse. Grandma risked her life for the local labor, kissed whom she pleased, drank when she felt, worked on behalf of women who would not touch her, tucked her bruises away from blue collar, and some night sat up watching the lawn for crosses. Her daughter, our mother, named for lightness, the darker of two sisters, survived this bleached town, a $1.05 sopping wet in the 60s. Our mama suffers no permanent scars, taught us to fight with equalizers and also to measure for cooking by the digit splits in a cursing finger C, like this: put your nail at the bottom of the pan, fill the rice to here, water to there, boil over and simmer, watch a meal suffice for whomever arrives at your door. A skill imparted to her by Lucretia, our great-grandmother, also named for light, who survived every war working as a domestic in Jewish households, who sang mom and auntie the first line of prayer in Hebrew, but finished with Negro spiritual, who always left a seat and the pot liquor for Elijah, who spoke Yiddish and precious Lord to each child she raised, who pushed schmutzkrutz from an eye, and then when Lucretia cried Dayenu, she really meant enough, meant all the ways it can be heard, meant get this life up off my neck, and also praise be to God, and also it would have been meant Jim Crow thorn in her side, and also the longevity to spoil great-granddaughters, and if her pantyhose stayed cinched at her calf with a nickel, then the day was not too bad when she cried enough. We all listened. We learned to duplicate, to quilt and double down. We robbed Peter, paid Paul, and saved the big piece of chicken for Mama. We cobbled so much scrap and nothing together. Sometimes we had extra, and this is why I believe great-grandma put stock in fish and loaves and miracle and studied so hard on Jesus, and why she, for 30 years at the elementary, made her 20-some-odd pupils stand to pledge allegiance. She told me once that when she was a child, she sharecropped before and after her school day. Standing to salute was her only opportunity out of a meal. Bobby picked this country into itself one cotton blister at a time. Chloe crafted these United States from pistol and precinct walked. Lucretia stretched her dimes and cupboard to nurse it to life. Every corner of our homeland scaffolded on the spines of women who cook and organize and fight and shoot. This place, even now, an archive of women, all ample. We are they, our mothers and theirs. We, little sister, straightened spine, gun cocked, fistful of rice and water, bent around bad times, but built of those who thrived in them. So these days, do push fast and ugly on your head, come cross your shoulders, make us doubt, say we're scared, think hurricanes, the rising cost of birth control, nuclear activity off the coast, to think security hacks and credit breach, and you feel off your limit, hear sirens in the morning, smell soot in your toilet bowl, feel like the world going out of business and you miss the clearance. You know the deal. You know your frame looks light but packs a punch. You are gifted with every ounce of metal you need, an endowment from those who shed blood so you could inherit it. Even as the earth comes apart, you're sufficient to mend it. No, little sister, you are your own archive of enough.
Ooh. Hello.
My guy, I haven't looked at that poem in like 3 years. I didn't know what it was for at the time, but that's a quarantine poem for you guys.
Wow, that's so good.
I had no idea that how I just thought grandma ancestor, haven't really looked at it. That's crazy. That's really right on for the moment.
Yeah, wow, that was really powerful. It's so visual too. Like, and then I felt like the rhythm sped up like by the 3/4 mark, and you're talking about like handful of rice, and like I can't quote everything, but I felt like I went on this visual journey. That was really, really powerful.
Thank you so much.
Uh,
All my like sisters and their aunties, when I get to that part about rice, they're like, "What? Black people cook rice like that too?" No matter who it is, like my Asian friends, my Latino friends, everyone's like, "What? Your grandma with the parts of the fingers, or like this?"
I know that's
Yeah.
like I was laughing because I was like, that's how I learned too from my
Only
grandma.
way. I have a rice cooker, and I've been using it with like the cup and the water. I'm like, I feel like such a cheater. And she
Yeah,
said,
me too, actually.
"Hey, step
What's
it up."
oh my gosh, I need to go back to the finger method. Okay, I'm gonna throw you a curveball. You kind of inspired me. Kind of want to sing a song that my sister inspired. And then sing Ooh Child. Do you have another poem you could share?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to put you on the spot.
It's all good.
How's everyone doing here? Let's see. I see some people requesting the song Devil Devil. I'm gonna do that next time. So come back next Monday. All right.
All right, I got a poem.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Okay, how about this? I'll sing the song because you just sang about oh gosh, what was that last line? Little sister, you are
your own archive of enough.
you are your own archive of enough. Okay, so this song is written because of my sister. My sister, when I turned 29, she wrote me a card and said, I wish, like, happy birthday, I love you, I wish that you could see you the way that I see you. And then I was like, oh, I had never seen those words written out to me before. Just the power of the written word too. So I taped it next to my bed, and I would look at it every day when I woke up and said, okay, try to look at yourself the way that your sister sees you. And then I could skip past my demons for a little bit. Okay. You're so hard on yourself. You try to hide it, but I can tell. Bending backwards, people pleasing, haunted by your non-achievements, hard on yourself. Baby, I don't understand it. Why you're taking you for granted. Can't stand it. I wish that you could see you the way that I see you, my love, my love. I wish that you could feel you the way that I feel you, my love, my love. I see goodness and kindness, a kiss with a bite, boldness and courage, everything I like. I wish that you could see you the way that everybody sees you. When you don't shine a light, don't you know that's a crime? Compliments you can't receive them, honest but you don't believe them. I wish you'd fight. Baby, I don't understand it. Why you taking you for granted? Can't stand it. Oh, I wish that you could see you the way that I see you, my love, my love. I wish that you could feel you the way that I feel you, my love, my love. I see goodness and kindness, a kiss with a bite, boldness and courage, everything I like. I wish that you could see you the way that everybody sees you. The way that everybody sees you. I wish that you could see you the way that I see you, my love.
Yes. Yes. I think that's my favorite song.
Really?
That song goes. That's jammy. I want to get on the remix and do 16 bars about my sisters.
Let's do it.
I'm
I
so
need to
serious.
record it. I need to record
So
it.
sincere. I love that song. And I have 5 sisters, so well, there's 5 of us rather.
So 3 sisters and a brother.
No. 5
Oh.
sisters total. 8 kids total. 8 cousins who grew up in the house with us.
Wow.
I got a lot of sister love to go around.
Yeah, that's amazing. My mom has 4 sisters and a brother. So I got to experience that like love, that lively family love. I feel really lucky about that. So that's really cool. You grew up that way too.
Yeah, well, there's just more of us. Every time I open the door, I'm like, oh yeah.
That's the quarantine cozy, right? You're
Yeah.
like, oh.
What's this Zoom box do? Oh, look, 16 of us. We all look the same.
You got a poem for us?
Yeah, I was gonna do another one, but this changed. Your song changed this. So this is also from Dated MCs. It's a poem called Ratchet. I moved to LA when Ratchet first started being used, and I feel like in my lifetime I've been called this term many times over, or synonyms for the term many times over, and so wanted to explain a little bit about it. Ratchet, noun. 2, a situation or process that is perceived to be deteriorating or changing steadily in a series of irreversible steps. Ratchet. Go on and say something now, since you find yourself in Lisa Nails number 3 in Hawthorne or Compton on Saturday at 9 a.m. Vicky, who is called something different in Viet, is pulling frayed plastic from a tray and gluing it to the underside of your top eyelid. The smell of acrylic acetone and fried hair wafting everywhere you go. You are called out your name, and now they have called you tool, something that is made to tighten, loosen, or hold fast. Shit, girl, go on and claim it with your yaki pack and your tiny waist and your impossible breasts. Shrug your shoulders when they essentialize you. If they talk mess while you riding the 88 bus down Figueroa, you roll your eyes like your grandmama taught you. If the girl has managed to stay alive in the face of all the things designed to kill her, make her go all the way metallic shades of crazy, like her hair's too tight and the WIC store is closed and the one person she's ever trusted is evading child support and no one's ever asked her to speak a full sentence, and if they did, they get her barred, a legit loop for a mouthpiece. Call her ratchet if you want, doesn't change anything about her circumstance, her dilapidated high school, her need to yell at the top of her lungs when all of LA County tells her to hush the outfit, her choice of music, her gum pop is a subtle compromise between silence and homicide. Don't choose the death now, go on and say something, ratchet.
Ooh, can you read, what were those last 4 lines? Like, did you say like pop song?
Yeah, her dilapidated high school or her need to yell at the top of her lungs. When all of LA County tells her to hush the outfit, her choice of music, her gum pop is the subtle compromise between silence and homicide. Don't you choose the death now, go on and say something.
Ooh, wow. That's what you wrote? That was an MC.
Yeah, this is an MC.
Dated MC, okay.
But I have like rhymey stuff. There's one of those in like all the books. So there's something that like has that same kind of cadence and for girls with hips.
So cool. And when did you release Dated MC? Was it 2016?
16.
Okay.
Time for a new something.
Are you working on something right now?
Not really. I have, well, yes. But it doesn't feel like these projects. Like I said at kind of the beginning of the call, a lot of what I'm asked to do these days is commission poems, and particularly commission poems for ritual events. I also facilitate weddings or like officiate weddings. And so I'm asked to do poems at these kinds of events, and I have very specific poems for the people. And so I think the next book I'll work on is called Ritual, and it'll be a coffee table book of poems I've shared at like births, naming ceremonies, funerals, weddings, and then also like pictures from the rituals. Why I did this one, what the other ritual things I do. My dad is also like, he does these kinds of events in the Bay Area, and he has for a really long time. So I feel like I stepped into the family business in some ways of like holding like transition space really. So yeah, I mean, all kinds of weddings, all kinds of people have gotten married, and I feel like probably culminating with me and McLeod's wedding. Yeah, I mean, I have all these funeral poems I haven't shared, a whole lot of like grief, life and death poems, and then a really beautiful love poems that kind of come to me the night before people's weddings that I don't think have anything to do with my talent. And so I just want to share those out. So it feels different than these other books because those are more targeted. And this is kind of like, here's what already exists and what I'll share with you. Poems, like when people tell me they're sick, poems, or just transcripts of dreams I've had, those kinds of things. So don't wait than any other things I've shared.
Yeah, and that I like having more art out there about grief.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, especially right now, I feel like some of us are having a hard time walking through grief because it's like such an emotion that we all try to shirk off and avoid. And right now there's a lot of loss, a lot of grief, a lot of change, unexpected, a lot we can't control. And so having art like that is really essential just to like face it, you know?
Yeah. I think as well, like you never know what is in the poem for someone else. And, you know, sometimes I just think I'm pulling an image from thin air and often I am, but you know, it's like playing the lottery at any given moment, that image might be exactly what my audience needs to hear. And people will come up to me and say, why did you say, you know, the red kangaroo? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, I had a red kangaroo on my childhood backpack, like that kind of thing. So those poems, I'm like, I don't know. Some things I do because I'm a writer and I have to, and it's part of the craft and part of the career, and other things I do because I have genuinely, literally no choice. And words just show up and I have to say them out loud, you know.
Do you feel like you pull some words out of the air, like you're saying, like sometimes you'll just, how does a poem birth through you?
It's different every time. Yeah. And I write so many different things. Like I write screenplay, I write stage play, I write music review. So I'm not always sure what the thing is, you know, like it's just a 2 snatches of a line or 4 snatches of a line, or, you know, I'm lucky if it comes to me as a whole piece and I know what it is already. It's kind of like blind dating my art, you know. I'm like, first they slide in my DMs and I'm like, oh, cool. Who are you? What are you? And it takes like a while before I know who, you know, if I want to do my notebook.
Yeah, right now I'm writing a song and it's like this like slow build. It's like this proper, you know, classically proper relationship that my parents would approve of. It's like we hang out a little bit, we get to know each other a little bit, and I'm like, okay, it's time to part. And it's just been this slow burn, which has been really cool. But sometimes I think I started the career of songwriting because I had those feelings of where a song would just pass through me, and I was like, and I show up all the time just to feel that. It's such a specific high that right? And so I think that's why I'm still here. I mean, obviously I love serving through my art.
Yeah. But do you find it often, or is it kind of like that first time, or like on rare occasions where you're like, that was a moment it happened? More often than not, when I'm performing, I don't feel it, but I know that it's out there, you know? Right? I touch it for a second and I want to like elongate the amount of time I feel that, you know?
Yeah. I feel when I'm writing, I'll feel that really like spiritual kind of flow once in a blue moon. But when I show up to perform, there's another spirit that shows up where it's like, I'm just locked in with the audience and it's coming through me. I feel like it's like a wiser energy coming through.
I feel like there's like most of the time she doesn't show up. Most of the time I'm too much in like the way of the spirit. Like I'm like, how's my hair? And I'm hungry. And like, have I checked the microphone? And like, what if I have to pee in the middle of the poem? What if I stop talking? What if I stop talking and I don't know? Like all that's going on. And if I can get her to shut up, there's this other person who comes in and wrecks shop. But I have no control over that. That's why when like Beyonce talks about Sasha Fierce, I'm like, I really get that. Like there's some person that shows up when the lights are on and I'm responsible for the energies of thousands of people at once, where I'm like, it is not me. I don't know how to do that in my kitchen or just in my shower. So I can't claim that. I can't, it's like a superpower. I can't do it on command. I was like, go home, you know, but I try.
And that's like reassuring to me because sometimes I'm like, wow, I feel like 2 different people sometimes, you know, like in my kitchen, I'm like, why can I not channel that wise, powerful goddess energy right now? You know,
why do I have such a hard time in like the post office or, you know, at the bank where I'm like, please, and like, what are you cashing this check for? Speaking truth to power.
that's so
dismantling
true.
hegemonic racism and misogyny, please, sir?
He's like, "Hi, I want to deposit this check. Do you mind doing it?" And I'm feeling all
I
insecure.
was-
They're like, "What is it for?" "Oh, for not keeping quiet." Yeah.
Bravo, bravo, well done.
Okay, I'm gonna close with a song I did not write, but a song that is so relevant and that is literally given to us from songwriting ancestors. Thank goodness for the 5 stair steps and Ooh Child. Ooh child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh child, things will get brighter. Ooh child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh child, things will get brighter. Someday we'll get it together and we'll get it all done. And someday when your head is much lighter, someday we'll walk in the race of a beautiful sun. And someday when the world is much brighter, ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. And someday we'll get it together and we'll get it all done. And someday when the world is much brighter, and someday we'll walk in the rays of a beautiful sun. And someday when the world is much brighter, ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Things will get easier. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Things will get easier. Ooh, child.
Right now.
Yay.
All-time favorite songs.
Such a good song.
It's
I know,
quality songwriting right there. Like, oh, that's what you do with the bridge. Frick.
Thank you, ancestors.
Nailed it.
Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Chinaka.
Thank you for having me, Milk. You're the best.
More to come. I'm serious about recording that
I
season.
am too.
Yeah, well,
Let
I
me
got
know.
time.
You know what I'm saying? Let me know. It won't be, it won't be as crisp a recording as I like, but this snowball mic in the back, we can make it happen.
Yes, that's good enough.
All right, my
well,
love. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
really get so much love. I'm gonna text you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.